In the vast wilderness of Moab, there stretched an encampment unlike anything the world had ever seen. Israel, 2 million souls strong, had made their camp in the plains across from Jericho. Their tents spread like a great sea beyond the horizon, cooking fires sending smoke into the morning air. This was no ordinary wandering tribe. This was the nation that had walked through the Red Sea on dry ground, who had seen fire descend upon Mount Sinai, who had eaten bread from heaven. Their God had proven himself mighty in Egypt and faithful through 40 years of wandering. At the center stood the tabernacle, where God's presence dwelt among his people. By day, a pillar of cloud hovered above it. By night, fire. The sight reminded every Israelite that they were the chosen people of the Most High God. And everyone knew it. From Damascus to distant palaces, word had traveled. Israel was on the move, and their God fought for them. High in his palace, King Balak of Moab stood at his window, knuckles white as he gripped the stone ledge. Below him stretched Israel's vast encampment. They cover the face of the earth, he whispered to his advisers. Like locusts, they will devour everything. Balak had heard the stories, the 10 plagues, the Red Sea parting, the destruction of mighty kings. Conventional warfare was useless against these people. We need a prophet, he declared. Someone who can speak to the spiritual realm. There is one man, Balaam of Pethor. They say his blessings bring prosperity and his curses bring destruction. What he blesses prospers, and what he curses withers. Within hours, a delegation loaded with silver and gold departed for Mesopotamia. Find Balaam, Balak commanded them. Tell him a people has come out of Egypt and covers the face of the earth. Beg him to curse them, for whoever he blesses is blessed, and whoever he curses is cursed. When Balak's delegation reached Balaam's fine house, they found a wealthy man who had learned to monetize his spiritual gifts. They opened their saddlebags to reveal gleaming silver and gold. King Balak offers you great honor, they announced. Come curse this people that we might defeat them. Balaam's eyes lingered on the wealth. Stay here tonight, he said. I will bring back word as the Lord speaks to me. That night, God came to him. Do not go with them. You must not curse those people, because they are blessed. When morning came, Balaam told the elders, Go back to your country, for the Lord has refused to let me go. But as he watched them ride away with their gold, regret stirred in his heart. Perhaps there was another way. Balak sent a second delegation, more distinguished princes with greater wealth. Do not let anything keep you from coming, they pleaded. Balak will reward you handsomely and do whatever you say. Balaam replied carefully, Even if Balak gave me all his silver and gold, I could not go beyond the command of the Lord my God. But stay here tonight, and I will see what else the Lord will tell me. That night God said, Since these men have come to summon you, go with them, but do only what I tell you. When dawn broke, Balaam rose with excitement. He had permission. Quickly he saddled his donkey and set out on the road to Moab, his mind racing with possibilities. But in his excitement he forgot God's condition. Do only what I tell you. The road stretched before him, leading toward what he believed would be the greatest payday of his career. He had no idea that unseen eyes were watching, and ahead stood a figure with a drawn sword. As Balaam rode along lost in pleasant thoughts about riches and influence, his donkey suddenly saw something that made her blood run cold. There, directly in their path, stood the angel of the Lord with a sword drawn and ready. The angel's presence filled the road like a mountain of fire, his sword gleaming with judgment. To the donkey, the message was unmistakable. You shall not pass. She veered sharply off the road into an open field. What are you doing? Balaam shouted, striking her hard with his staff. The angel moved to a narrow passage between vineyard walls. Again the donkey saw him and pressed against the wall, scraping Balaam's foot against the stones. You stupid animal. Balaam cursed, striking her even harder. The angel moved a third time to the narrowest part of the path, filling it completely. The donkey, seeing no escape, lay down in the middle of the road. Balaam's rage exploded. He raised his staff to deliver a punishing blow, when something unprecedented happened. The donkey opened her mouth and spoke. What have I done to you to make you beat me these 3 times? For a moment, Balaam stared in complete shock. His donkey had just spoken in perfect human language, but perhaps more shocking was his response. You have made a fool of me, he shouted. If I had a sword, I would kill you right now. The donkey replied with patient logic. Am I not your own donkey, which you have always ridden? Have I been in the habit of doing this to you? No, Balaam admitted reluctantly. The conversation continued in the narrow passage, a prophet arguing with his donkey as if such things happened every day. Still, even with this unprecedented miracle, Balaam could not see what his donkey saw. His spiritual blindness was so complete that God speaking through an animal seemed less remarkable than his travel schedule being delayed. In an instant, the scales of spiritual blindness fell away. There, filling the entire path with overwhelming presence, stood the angel of the Lord. His face shone like the sun, his robes rippled with supernatural light, and in his hand he held a sword pointed directly at Balaam's heart. Terror struck like a physical blow. Balaam collapsed face first onto the ground, pressing his face into the dirt. "Why have you beaten your donkey these 3 times?" the angel demanded. "I have come to oppose you because your path is reckless." The donkey saw me and turned away 3 times. If she had not turned away, I would have killed you by now, but spared her. The reality crashed over Balaam. His faithful donkey had saved his life. While he had been blind to the spiritual realm, she had been his protector. "I have sinned," he whispered. "I did not realize you were standing in the road to oppose me. If you are displeased, I will go back." The angel of the Lord looked down at the prostrate prophet. "Go with the men, but speak only what I tell you." The words were identical to God's earlier command, but now they carried different meaning. Before, Balaam had heard permission. Now he heard strict limitation. He would be nothing more than a mouthpiece through which God's words would flow. Balaam mounted his donkey with shaking hands. The journey would continue, but it was no longer his journey. Every step would be under divine supervision, every word subject to heavenly approval. As they resumed travel toward Moab, Balaam understood he was no longer a free agent but a prisoner under the direct authority of the God of Israel. The same God whose people he had been hired to curse. King Balak had been waiting at his border for days. When Balaam finally arrived, the king led a grand procession to meet him, complete with trumpeters and banners. "Did I not send you an urgent summons?" Balak demanded. "Why didn't you come immediately? Am I not able to reward you?" Balaam chose his words carefully. "I have come to you now, but I can't say whatever I please. I must speak only what God puts in my mouth." Balak forced enthusiasm back into his voice. That evening at a magnificent feast he outlined his strategy. "Tomorrow I will take you to the high places where you can see Israel's camp. From there, you will curse them for me." Balaam nodded, but his mind was filled with the memory of a drawn sword. Outside the palace windows, Israel's camp twinkled like stars. Tomorrow, when he opened his mouth to speak, the words would not be his own. At dawn, Balak led Balaam to Bamoth-baal. The view was breathtaking. Israel's camp stretched beyond the horizon like a living sea of humanity. "Build me 7 altars," Balaam instructed, "and prepare 7 bulls and 7 rams." As smoke from the sacrifices rose, Balaam stepped away. "Stay here while I go aside. Whatever the Lord reveals, I will tell you." When God met with him and put words in his mouth, Balaam returned to the waiting king. Every face was turned toward him with desperate hope. Balaam opened his mouth, and instead of the expected curse, something entirely different emerged. "How can I curse those whom God has not cursed? From the rocky peaks I see them, a people who live apart. Who can count the dust of Jacob or number even the 4th part of Israel? Let me die the death of the righteous." Balak's face went through confusion, disbelief, and finally fury. "What have you done? I brought you to curse my enemies, but you have blessed them. Must I not speak what the Lord puts in my mouth?" Balaam replied helplessly. Twice more Balak tried, taking Balaam to different locations, building altars, offering sacrifices. But each time the result was the same: powerful blessings instead of curses. God is not human, that he should lie. He is blessed and I cannot change it. The Lord their God is with them. With each blessing, Balak's hopes crumbled. The prophet he had hired to curse had become the instrument of blessing. Finally, in complete defeat, Balak dismissed Balaam without payment. As Balaam made his way home, the full magnitude of what had occurred settled over him. He had come as a prophet for hire, confident in his abilities. He was leaving as a man who had learned that God cannot be manipulated or bargained with. His donkey had been more spiritually perceptive than he had been. A beast had seen what a prophet could not see, understood what a supposed servant of God had failed to grasp. The lesson echoed through the ages. God's sovereignty extends over all things, prophets and kings, nations and individuals. What he has blessed cannot be cursed. What he has chosen cannot be rejected. King Balak had learned this the hard way, watching his plans crumble as his hired prophet became the instrument of his enemy's blessing. But the lesson extended far beyond Moab. Throughout history, rulers would rise against God's purposes, convinced that human wisdom could outwit divine plans. They would all learn what Balak learned. The Lord sits in the heavens and laughs at the schemes of men. He takes their opposition and weaves it into his perfect will, turning their